Now, a lot of times forging fire, you'll see them beat a tip in and everything like that. That's good when you're doing a thick blade. This blade is going to be super thin, so it's going to be cut. I'll cut it with a Metabo and a hand grinder, and then get to try out the new service grinder, see if it works. If it does, it'll save me a lot of time. So we're going to let that heat up just a little bit more. And if you look real close, you can start seeing them lines. That's actually the pattern of the Damascus starting to come out. It's because it's been squashed so good, it's starting to layer. That's the layers that we were talking about. So you got a pretty good guess of where you crushed the last time. These dies will leave like a little line right there, so you can gauge it. Having a good set of flat dies is super important, especially for this kind of stuff. You just really want to get as much of the flaws out of the metal that you can. And you see we're flattening it out real good. It's coming real good. A lot of this stuff isn't even flaws. That's oh, here you can see the pattern real good right here. You see it? That's actually the pattern inside the steel starting to come out. But a lot of this stuff right here, that's actually flux. When you use that borax, it gets like glass when it melts, liquid glass, and it sticks to the billet. Well, you see I got a piece of fireproof glass cloth in there. Every time after I set my blades and I use my borax, I just swallowed a bug. Yep. I put that glass cloth in there. That keeps that billet out of that liquid boraxy stuff. Because I tell you what, it is super hard to get off a blade. Let's see if I have some laying here. Yeah, this is it here. Here's what it looks like. And I mean, that's like trying to cut a diamond. But here you can see the pattern coming out real good. So we're definitely going to have a pretty wide open pattern on this blade. Once I get it pressed out, we might cheat a look. I'll clean a section of it and dip it in some muriatic acid. That's what I like using to edge the blades. It doesn't put too much of a corrosion on it. Cleans up real nice. Ferric chloride does nice, but it has a tendency to edge real dark. And doesn't always clean up real good. Alright, so we're just about done with that process. Again, stretch it out lengthwise, widthwise, and do one more little press on this side. That'll take it at the end, flatten it out real good, and then we're gonna let it cool off, and we'll set up the service grinder. The service grinder is homemade. I'm hoping it's gonna work. Put a lot of work and thought into it. Better than what I have, which is a 4-inch hand grinder. So this will be the last press right here. And again, all we're really doing is flattening some of them hammer marks out of it. And I don't know if y'all can see that. See the steel working. Give you a little example on how the press works here. Once I get this done. Alright, so we're gonna call this done. Sit over here on the anvil and take my hammer and just get that little bow out of it. The little bow doesn't matter much because the amount of grinding we're going to be doing. Let me see what I got over here. Alright. This is just going to be an example on how this press works. This is a railroad spike I'm going to make a knife out of. I'm machining, I put 1095 hard steel in there. But this is just an idea. Let y'all see how this steel actually works once it's hot. That railroad spike won't take long to get hot. So we'll open up the die a little bit. I don't know if y'all can see it, that wind's starting to pick up. It's a little difficult to forge when it's windy like that because the flame wants to dance all over the place. You gotta watch it don't catch your lines and stuff on fire. But going back to this, yeah, you see here now we got plenty to work with during fit and finish. That's the biggest thing. It's another mistake I've made many times, and I'm sure other people have also, is you got to leave yourself enough material for your fit and finish. Fit and finish is the most important part of making a knife to me. You can make that billet and it can look fantastic. If you grind it too thin while you're making your blade, you grind it too narrow, the blade looks silly. You can grind your tang for your handle too thin, it'll break. So forging it is actually, to me, the easiest part because you really can't screw it up. I mean, you can, like here, that might be a delamination, but with all the grinding we're gonna do, that's gonna be gone. So again, this will be the tang side, this will be the blade side, only because this side's wider. I always try to use the widest side of the billet. Again, give yourself enough material to work with. So this is just about hard enough for me to show you what I want to show you. Again, that's just a regular old railroad spike knife with a piece of 1095 steel that I machined a slot for and welded in there. When I make these knives, that'll give that knife blade always will have 1095 and not just regular steel. So this is the way this works. Stick it in there, make sure you're on, and this is 12 tons of pressure. And you can see it squashes that down pretty good. So that's just an example on the way that works. Crushes it down, that's what you use. You spin it around this way, that way. You can even, once you get good enough, you can even make stuff round. But I'm gonna shut these boards off. Turn off my gas. I have to thank Uncle Joe. Let's go, Brandon. Price of propane is steadily going up, so we've got to make sure we don't